Welcome back to What You Missed, a video game news show where I discuss articles that occurred within days to a week ago that you may have missed that are important to the video game industry and possibly to you. Before I get into today's video, I just want to let you know about the most recent Super Geek box that got sent to me. If you guys really enjoy anything you see in the background here, make sure to check the description below. I get a kickback, you get a Super Geek box, everyone wins, thanks. So Nintendo had released a statement talking about how Nintendo Switch Classic Game Selection is not going to be replacing the Virtual Console. And I understand exactly what they are saying. Quote, Classic Games section is different from Virtual Console, and that was a Nintendo rep talking to Famitsu and translated by Polygon. According to the rep, the company's schedule for selling Virtual Console games is, quote, still undecided. Now, a lot of people are going to groan and get upset, and I'm going to have some gameplay footage in the background of some classic games here, and I'm going to talk about how ridiculous this is. So, we all know that the Nintendo Switch paid online service has been delayed to 2018, and the incentives to actually get it aren't that great. Yeah, it's cheaper, but the games that you get with it are no match for Xbox or PlayStation. So the thing about it is, it's kind of a joke, honestly. Again, even though it's cheaper, it's still quite silly to see the games that they're putting out as some type of incentive to get you in with it. I'll talk about that paid online service in a later video, but for now, we're gonna stick with the classic game selection here. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this, and the things that I find ironic with it, the games that they're putting out, is that not that the games wouldn't work on the Switch. Like, the Wii U's architecture and the Switch's architecture are virtually identical. If you have an emulator that's able to run on one, you should more than likely be able to make an emulator that can run quite well and easily on the other one. And we're not talking about a complex emulator to run N64 games, though quite a few people would like that. We're just talking about NES and SNES architecture, which are also very similar. They weren't jumps into the 64-bit era as aforementioned with the N64 there. So the point is, it shouldn't be that difficult to put SNES games on there also. But the thing is, the games that they're putting out are very skimpy. They're laughable at best. And the reason why they're not including their massive console library, the reason why they're not putting out games like Mario Sunshine as an incentive to get this, is that they can sell those games to you later on for a much greater rate, maybe even greater than the online service is worth itself. So some of these games, the NES games, the SNES games, they can only be played for a very short time. Same with the Game Boy Advance games. While there are plenty of games out there that can take you a very, very long time to complete, I mean hours worth, there are plenty of other games that do not take long at all. So, for example, Super Mario RPG would be one of those games that would take you quite a few hours to complete, whereas the original Mario Brothers for NES would not take you that long to complete. Hence why they give away certain ones and not give away other ones. So if they gave away a game that was able to be completed within 1 month, and I think even the lengthy games like Super Mario RPG, as I said before, they can be completed within a month. These games can. It might take a little bit of dedicated gaming, but I would doubt that it would take anyone over 3 to 4 days to complete that game. I think most people would be able to sink in 10 to 20 hours into most Virtual Console games and just complete them. I'm not talking about 100% completion, I'm just talking about completing them. We're talking about games like The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Donkey Kong Country, and as aforementioned once again, Super Mario RPG, Earthbound. These are very lengthy games, yes, but they can be completed within 1 month. And Nintendo's service is offering these games that you can use, you can play them as long as you have that online service, and it'll cost you $20 a year for that online service. So if they gave away too many games that you would be able to complete within 1 month, you would never buy those games, and they would never recoup their costs or make more money. So Earthbound costs $10. If they gave that away, it would probably be one of the most played games for a month period. Now, without question, it's a very popular game, and it takes quite some time to get through Earthbound. Even very seasoned players know that it'll take you quite a bit of playing through that game to actually make it to the end. Could consist of several hours to quite a few hours. And if they gave that away, and everyone completed in 1 month, there would be a great amount of people that wouldn't actively seek it out to purchase it for their 3DS, to purchase it for their Wii U, because they already played through through it, they already got the experience. And many gamers, many casual gamers, only want to play games for that one-time experience. They say, okay, I played through it, I completed it, I'm done. I don't need to 100% it, I don't need to find all these secrets. I'm cool with that. And they're losing out on a major chunk of cash. Now, if they were to give away something like Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES, that's a game that many people have already played, and it is very, very cheap to purchase on the NES, consisting of $5 versus Earthbound at $10, which is why I think a lot of NES games are being given out versus SNES games, which is to be determined whether or not they're going to be putting out a lot of SNES games, if any at all. With all that said, I do think that the service is okay at best. I think it's laughable, the games that you get for free, considering you can get yourself an NES Classic for $200 hacked with over 600 games on it. So every single game they're going to give you with that service, you would own it for $200. I know $200 is about, I don't know, quite a bit more than what those games you would be getting for free and the cost of the online service would be. But if you think about it in the long run, if you're going to keep your Switch for 3 to 4 years and you're going to get the service, after 4 years, you're more than likely would have spent over $200 to get those type of games. You know, $80 for those years of the service and whatever the games would cost you, because you don't get to keep these games. These are temporary. These are kind of like rentals. So whatever they have up is what you get to play, whether you like it or not. So I'm just making the argument that this service, it's not the best service in the world. And everyone knows that even though the Virtual Console is a cool service to use and a cool way to play some old retro games, it is definitely not the best and cheapest way to use it. Again, we're not advocating piracy here, but there has to be a limit between spending $10 on each individual game that isn't even in stores anymore versus completely pirating a game. So those are my 2 cents. That's my thoughts on this. Do you feel the same way? Do you think these games are way overpriced? Do you think this online service isn't worth it? Do you think multiplayer should be free? Because I personally definitely think it should be, and I think Nintendo is definitely going down a bad road. But with all that said, it really does depend on you, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I've been your host, Protomario. I'm signing out. As always, good gaming. God bless, and thanks for watching.